Hello everyone, today I am Rishabh Bhardwaj taking the lecture of Applied Thermodynamics, that is lecture number 7, and today we will cover up the topic that is supercritical vapor cycle with Rankine cycle. For that, initially we have to discuss about Rankine cycle, then we will come forward to our main topic. First, we have the basic Rankine cycle. The Rankine cycle is the oldest functional heat cycle utilized by man. The Rankine cycle is the very basic vapor cycle which is adopted in all the thermal power plants. It is a four-step process which involves the heating of the fluid to its saturation temperature and vaporizing it isothermally, expanding the power vapor on the turbine, that is work cycle, condensing the steam isothermally to the liquid phase and jumping it back to the boiler. As you can see in the figure, we have a pump, then a vapor generator, or we can say a boiler, then turbine, then condenser. Pump help to supply the water to the boiler. The main function of the boiler is to boil the water and change it into the vapors. Then vapor will enter in the turbine and rotates its shaft with the striking on the wind turbine blades, and which convert into mechanical rotational shaft output, which is further converted into electrical power. Then the steam rejected to the turbine will enter in the condenser, and the condenser will reject its heat and convert it into liquid states again, and then the pump will circulate that water again to the boiler. By this process, in process 1 to 2, a pump of the working fluid water into the boiler drum, the power required is derived from the overall power developed. Process 2 to 3 is the heating of the water up to its saturation temperature, that is 100 degrees Celsius at 1 atm pressure for water. It reaches, and then isothermal heating of the water, where the phase change from liquid to vapor occurs. The point 3 lies on the saturated vapor line. The steam here is completely dry, and the process 3 to 4 is the adiabatic expansion of the vapor on the turbine to obtain mechanical work. It is an asentropic process. The temperature of the turbine is reduced and it falls below the saturated vapor line. The dryness fraction is reduced to less than 1 and a mixed liquid vapor phase is present. Process 4 to 1 is the condensation process. This mixture is condensed in a condenser isothermally and brought to the liquid phase back to the pump. As you can see in the figure, the process 1 to 2, in which the water is added to the system. In 2 to 3, the heat is involved in the process. In 3 to 4, the work output has been carried out, and in 4 to 1, the heat is rejected by the system. This is the graph between the temperature and the entropy for a Rankine cycle. The steam is, however, usually superheated as to obtain more work output. Increasing the superheat to greater extent would lead to more work output. However, the energy spent in superheating the fuel is also high. The overall effect is an increase in the thermal efficiency since the average temperature at which the heat is added increases. Moisture content at the exit of the steam is decreased. Superheating is usually limited to 620 degree owing to metallurgical concentration. In this diagram, this is temperature entropy diagram for the steam, by which you can see the normally the superheated steam will converted and goes up to the limit of gaseous phase, and then it will converted into that will be used for the work output, and then will it convert into liquid phase again. This is the phase of superheating with Rankine cycle. Energy analysis of a Rankine cycle. All four components in the Rankine cycle, that are pump, boiler, turbine and condenser, are steady flow devices and thus can be analyzed under steady flow processes. That is, with kinetic energy and potential energy changes are small compared to work and heat transfer and thereby neglected. Thus, the steady flow equation, that is the heat plus entropy and enthalpy, initially is equal to the work done plus enthalpy at the final point. The boiler and the condenser do not involve any work, and the pump and the turbine are assumed to be isentropic. The conservation of energy related to each device is expressed as follows. For the steam turbine, as the expansion is adiabatic, where heat is equal to 0, and the isentropic, where entropy for the process 3 is equal to the entropy of system 4 is equal, then we implies, or we can say that the work done in the process 3 to 4 is equal to the work done by the turbine, or the enthalpy that in the process in 3 minus enthalpy of the process 4. In the condenser, the heat rejected in the condenser, that is for process 4 to 1 plus the enthalpy of the process 4 is equal to the enthalpy of the process 1 plus the work done on the system by 4 to 1 process. Since 4 to 1 work done is equal to 0, and the heat 4 to 1 is equal to the heat enthalpy of process 1 minus enthalpy of process 4. Thus Q4 4 to 1 is equal to minus H4 minus H1. That implies the process of enthalpy change in the process 4 to 1. Then we will discuss about the pump. The work required to pump water, that will be the change of enthalpy from process 1 to 2. In the boiler, the heat added in the boiler, that is Q2 to 3, is equal to H3 minus H2, or we will imply that H3 minus H1 minus work done by the pump. Thus, Rankine efficiency is equal to the work done upon the heat supplied. That implies that the H3 minus H4 minus WP is whole divided by the H3 minus H1 minus WP. Neglecting feed pump water work as it is very small compared to other quantities. The efficiency is reduced to S3 minus H4 whole divided by S3 minus H1. Now we will discuss about the factors increasing the Rankine efficiency. First, lowering the condenser pressure. Lowering the condenser pressure would lead to the lowering of temperature of steam. Thus, for the same turbine inlet state, more work is obtained at lower temperature. This method through cannot be extensively used as it reduces the dryness fraction of the steam. This is highly undesirable as it decreases the turbine efficiency. It is reduced due to excessive erosion of the turbine blades. If we are talking about the superheating of the steam to high temperature, there is an increase in work output if superheating of steam is done. It increases the thermal efficiency as the average temperature at which heat is added increases. There is also another benefit of superheating, that the steam at the exit of the turbine is drier than in case of non-superheated. Increasing in the boiler pressure. Increasing in the boiler pressure rises the temperature or average temperature at which heat is added and thereby increases the thermal efficiency. However, the dryness fraction decreases from the same exit temperature of the boiler. This problem can be solved by employing reheating procedure. If, however, the boiler pressure is raised to supercritical point, greater efficiency is obtained at the latent heat absorbed during phase change is reduced to 0. Now let's come to our topic, that is supercritical Rankine cycle. In supercritical technology, when the temperature pressure of live steam are increased beyond the critical point of water, the property of the steam will change dramatically. The critical point of water is at 374 degrees Celsius and 221.2 bar at 218 atm. At is defined to be the point where gaseous phase component cannot be liquefied by increase the pressure applied to it. Beyond the critical point, water does not experience a phase change to vapor, but it becomes a supercritical fluid. Supercritical fluid is not a gas or a liquid. It is best described to be an intermediate between two phases, as it has similar solvent power as liquid, but its transport properties are similar to the gases. As you can see in the figure, we have a triple point where the temperature and the pressure implies the three phases of solid, liquid and gas. At the time of water and the gaseous vapor, a higher temperature point, a point in the graph will come that will be known as the critical point, where the water will not be in the form of gas and the liquid. The efficiency of the Rankine cycle can be greatly improved by operating in the supercritical region of the coolant. Most modern fossil fuel plants employs the critical Rankine steam cycle, which pushes the thermal efficiency of the plant into low to mid 40% range. In the supercritical efficiency, the work done the total work done, that will be H2 minus H1 minus H3 plus H4, and the whole divided by H2 minus H1. In this phase, you can see the graph will goes beyond the bell shaped curve, and which implies the higher temperature range. For water, this cycle corresponds to pressures above 221.2 bar and temperatures above 374.15 degrees Celsius. The TS diagram for supercritical cycle can be shown by the figure with the use of reheat and regenerative technique. Point 3, as you can see in this figure, point 3, which corresponds the TS vapor state of the coolant after it has expanded through a turbine. It can be pushed to the right such that the coolant remains in the gas phase. This simplifies the system by eliminating the need of steam separator, dryer and turbine specially designed for low quality steam. For this purpose, the material concern, the primary concern with this cycle, at least for water, is the material limit of the primary and the support equipment. The material in a boiler can be exposed to temperature above their limit within the region so long as the rate of heat transfer to the coolant is sufficient to cool the material below its given limit. The same holds true for the turbine material. With the advent of modern material, that is super alloys and ceramics, not only are the physical limit of the material being pushed to extremes, but the system are functioning much closer to their limit. The current super alloys and coating are allowed turbine inlet temperature of up to 700 degrees Celsius. The fourth generation super alloys with ruthenium monocrystal structures promise turbine inlet temperature up to 1097 degrees Celsius. Special alloys like Iconil and Haynes and CCA 6117 etc. are being used for their turbine purposes. The metallurgical challenges faced and solutions. The normal stainless steel proves of absolutely no use in building HC and USC boilers. The high temperature and pressure in the boiler induce huge amount of stresses and fatigue in the material. It also changes of oxidation are very high at such high temperature and pressure. To resist this stress level and oxidation, different advanced materials and alloys should be introduced. They should be also machinable and weldable, as it is great metallurgical challenge. Now today we have learned about the supercritical Rankine cycle, in which we are able to get that we need different material for that purpose, but we will get a higher energy or efficiency by the help of superheating the steam and make a cycle a super high temperature goes to the super high temperature limit. For today this is coming to our end, and stay tuned for our next videos, and you will get the next videos soon. Thank you.